People think money belongs to the smartest men in the room, but I learned something very early. Money belongs to the people who can make others believe, and once people trust you, they stop asking questions. I started with almost nothing, just a few $1,000s, a borrowed desk, and a dream bigger than my own fear. Everyone around me laughed at the idea that a middle-class kid from Queens could ever touch Wall Street. Trust is more valuable than gold on Wall Street. Once investors hear your name enough times, they stop checking your numbers. They stop doubting your promises. They begin to believe success is automatic around you. I didn't just sell investments, I sold certainty. While markets crashed and investors panicked, I gave them something addictive: stability. Every month the returns arrive smoothly, quietly, perfectly timed like a luxury watch. The first line never feels dangerous. It feels temporary. You tell yourself you'll fix it next month, next quarter, next year. But lies grow faster than profits, and eventually they become the entire business. The richer the clients became, the easier they were to fool. Wealthy people hate missing opportunities. The moment someone heard their friend invested with me, they rushed in before asking any real questions. My family believed I had built a financial empire through brilliance and discipline. They saw the expensive homes, the yachts, the respect. None of them realized the empire beneath our feet was slowly collapsing. Every statement looked beautiful. Green profits, smooth growth, predictable success. Investors framed those reports like trophies. They had no idea the numbers came from imagination, not the stock market. When Wall Street calls you a genius long enough, you begin believing you're untouchable. Regulators respected me. Banks admired me. Investors worshiped me. And nobody expects a legend to be running a fraud. A few experts tried warning the world. They said the numbers were mathematically impossible. But greed is louder than logic, especially when profits appear every single month. Luxury became part of the performance. Investors trusted success they could see. The expensive watches, private flights, and elite parties convinced everyone their money was completely safe. Every successful fraud carries one hidden emotion: fear, fear of exposure, fear of collapse. Fear that one tiny mistake could destroy everything built over decades. Inside the office, silence became survival. Employees followed instructions carefully because questioning the system meant risking careers, salaries, and futures. There was no secret investment strategy. New money simply paid older investors. It was simple, illegal, and terrifyingly effective, as long as new victims kept arriving. From celebrities to charities, everyone trusted Bernie Madoff. The more famous his clients became, the easier it was to convince new investors to join. Then came the financial crisis of 2008. Suddenly, investors everywhere became terrified and demanded their money back immediately. For the first time in decades, the machine stopped working. Too many investors wanted real cash at the same time. Cash that no longer existed. I stopped sleeping. Every phone call sounded like disaster. Every knock on the door felt like federal agents arriving to end my entire life. My own son started noticing inconsistencies. Questions became harder to answer. Lies became harder to maintain. I finally admitted the truth. The business was one giant lie. Decades of fake profits and stolen trust collapsed in one conversation. The next morning, the illusion ended forever. Federal agents arrived while reporters gathered outside the building waiting for history. After fooling Wall Street for decades, Bernie Madoff walked into public view wearing handcuffs instead of expensive suits. The world stared in disbelief as the numbers emerged. Billions of dollars had vanished into the largest Ponzi scheme in history. Retirement savings disappeared overnight. Families lost inheritance money. Charities collapsed. Entire lives were financially destroyed. Every reporter wanted the same answer. How could one man fool banks, regulators, and billionaires for so many years? In court, there was nowhere left to hide. Victims stared directly at the man they trusted with their futures. Fraud, theft, money laundering, perjury. Bernie pleaded guilty while thousands of shattered lives stood silently watching. To the public, Bernie Madoff became more than a criminal. He became the face of greed itself. Authorities had received warnings for years. Experts tried exposing the fraud repeatedly, but reputation protected Bernie better than security guards. 150 years in prison, a sentence designed to ensure Bernie Madoff would never experience freedom again. The billionaire lifestyle ended inside concrete walls, prison uniforms, and endless silence. Luxury disappeared quickly. No investors, no applause, no private jets. Only isolation and memories remained. The scandal consumed not only Bernie's reputation, it consumed his entire family. The emotional pressure became unbearable. Shame, anger, and public humiliation tore the family apart. Everything connected to the fraud was seized piece by piece. Mansions, boats, artwork, and luxury possessions vanished. Some victims cried openly while describing lost savings and destroyed futures. Others could barely speak through the anger.
Y'all planned you.
The scandal damaged something deeper than finances. It damaged trust itself. For years, documentaries, books, and investigations tried understanding how the fraud became so massive.
Bernie Madoff, covering walls with Bernie.
The real scam wasn't numbers on paper, it was psychology. People trusted confidence, exclusivity, and status more than evidence. After Bernie's collapse, investors everywhere became suspicious of promises that sounded too perfect. Behind locked doors, employees generated fake transactions designed to look completely authentic. Real investing involves losses and volatility. Bernie's returns looked perfect because reality was never involved. Even billionaires became victims. Wealth and intelligence offered no protection against emotional manipulation. Organizations helping children, hospitals, and communities lost everything inside the fraud. Wall Street rewards confidence so aggressively that dangerous people sometimes become heroes before becoming criminals. Years inside prison changed Bernie physically, but the scandal outside continued growing larger than ever. The same question haunted investigators forever. Did Bernie truly act alone? For many victims, the damage became psychological as much as financial. Depression and anxiety spread everywhere. Bernie Madoff became a permanent symbol of unchecked greed and financial deception. The penthouse, once filled with wealth and celebration, eventually became silent and empty. In prison, there is nowhere to escape your own thoughts. Every decision echoes repeatedly inside your mind. The scandal changed how investors studied risk, fraud detection, and financial transparency forever. Regulators faced public humiliation for ignoring warning signs that could have prevented billions in losses.
During an investigation into financial regulatory failures.
The story of Bernie Madoff wasn't only about fraud. It was also about human greed and blind trust. Even years later, investors remained haunted by the fear of another hidden Ponzi scheme. Age and illness slowly weakened the man who once controlled billions of dollars. The final years were spent far away from Wall Street power, surrounded only by concrete and regret. Bernie Madoff died in prison, ending one life but leaving behind one of history's darkest financial legacies. History remembers Bernie Madoff not for wealth or success, but for betrayal on a massive scale. Whenever profits look too perfect and trust becomes blind, remember the story of Bernie Madoff, because greed always hides behind beautiful promises.